Welcome to American Downrange, presented by Claycomo Shooters, the podcast that takes you deep into the world of firearms. From the Second Amendment to self-defense, we cover it all. So get locked and loaded. We're ready to roll.
Hey, Herb Butts back, American Downrange. Welcome to our podcast. Today we've got Philip Kilpatrick with us, Lance, my delicate SWAT flower, and I'm Herb Butts back. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I kind of grew up everywhere. I was born in Galveston, Texas, and then my dad was an iron worker, and my parents divorced when I was really young, my biological parent, and kind of moved around the East Coast, pretty much raised in New York, New Jersey area, and then when, I guess you would call it, my stepmom passed away, we moved to northern Idaho. I don't recommend it. And grew up a little bit there. I mean, some of the people were cool. I just kind of a repressive little area because it was in decline, money-wise and stuff like that. So it was a really small town. And I knew at that point I needed to get out of there as fast as I could. So I kicked around, had a kid in high school. Don't recommend that either. And then joined the military, and the rest is kind of history.
What branch?
I was in the Air Force. Yeah. Yeah. So, funny story about that. I went to the Marines, and I was wearing a tank top, and I'd just gotten this horrible tattoo, 90s biker tattoo on my arm from my daughter that was born, and go to the Marines, and I find the only Marine I think I've ever met that had a conscience. And he says, "What's that tattoo?" I said, "Oh, it's for my daughter, blah, blah." He's like, "Hey, come with me." Because he asked me what I want to do. I said, "I want to go to sniper school." And he goes, "Why do you want to go to sniper school?" I'm 19 years old. I'm like, "I want to get paid to shoot people in the face." Dumbest shit you could ever say. Don't say that to people. So he takes me over to the Air Force recruiter. I'm like, "Nah, ain't happening." So I went and talked to the Army. And the guy that I talked to, the Army recruiter, just he didn't make it sound fun. And that was still around that time of the 18 X-ray program where you could go in and go get a contract, basically go straight into Green Berets. And that's the time before cell phones. We didn't have a lot of information how to get into these, programs that we knew about as kids.
Right.
So, and we didn't know about the programs. We just heard it in a movie, So, joined the military, and first duty station obviously was Vegas. Well, boot camp, Vegas, Nellis. Was there for a few years. Went to Turkey for 2 years, and then went to Davis-Monthan.
Cool.
Couple deployments, bumps and bruises, broken back, shoulder,
Broken back.
elbows.
What was your FSC?
So it was 28653 or 73.
Could you translate that?
Yes, sir. I sure can. So
SWAT flower.
it's
It's your Air Force job designation.
Right.
I know what that is. I just don't know what the numbers are.
So it's basically aerospace ground equipment. Anything that you see on a flight line that goes onto an aircraft, we maintained. And when I was in Vegas, we worked with pararescue. That's what got me into, basic training got me into pararescue, but I couldn't get out of my job because it was a critically manned job, even though pararescue, there was like 1,500 dudes at the time. So pararescue is called the Superman School for a reason. It's got about an 85% attrition rate.
It takes forever, does it not?
So when I was initially in, it took 2 years, the pipeline. And then when I'll fast forward and then rewind. But when I found out that I had been accepted for selection to go into pararescue, it had been bumped up to 3 years. So you go to what's called NDOC, and NDOC is 9 weeks? 12 weeks.
9 weeks. Back 9 weeks way back in the day.
Right. So I think it's 12 weeks now, but I think it was 8 or 10 at the 9 or 10, something like that. It's just X amount of weeks of getting your ass kicked. Proficiency in pool, drown proofing, all this stuff. Because for the rescue side of pararescue, you spend a lot of time in the water and, saving people and whatever. That was not the path I wanted to go. I didn't want to go to the rescue side. I wanted to go to the 24th, which is...
Like combat controllers?
No, those are a different job. So pararescueman is a combat medic on steroids.
Okay.
And the guys that are in the 24th, they only work for 2 units. I don't know if I should disclose.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not classified.
They work with Development Group and they work with Delta. How they work in those capacities is them, but like any other program with Development Group or Delta, you have to go through Green Team and all this other stuff. So that was where I had my mindset that I wanted to go. And then I found out I broke my back the day I found out that I had been approved for selection. So I was elated, and then I crashed all in one day. I was finding out that I made it to something I had achieved to get into, and then that I was getting retired in the same day.
It's not an easy task to even get selected.
Yeah, it took me 6 years, and I had to go through, I think it was 24 doctor's appointments. They got to do chest x-rays, they got to do teeth, and like, everything that you can imagine, because you have to be in peak physical shape to do what you're about to do. Because it's no joke. It's 3 years long, and so when you get to, say you get through NDOC and you start your pipeline, so you go to jump school and you go to steer school and you go to this school, you go to that school. So it's just 3 years of schools. And then you get to pararescue school. And while you're in pararescue school, you go through an EMT program where you actually work as an EMT. And because you have to learn how you're going to react to blood and guts and all this stuff. So then once you complete that part of it, then you go to actual PJ school to learn how to fix people while you're getting shot at. And to do it a proper way, because PJs are as close to a battlefield surgeon as you're ever going to get, on an actual battlefield. So, so yeah, that was my goal. It took me almost 6 years to get my wife convinced that it's a good idea. And she didn't think it was a good idea, and I might have not told her fully what I was doing. But a buddy of mine made sure he did.
It's a need to know.
Yeah. And she found out because my buddy was like, he's not just a combat medic. You know, when the SEALs get hemmed up, that's who they call. So that didn't help it at all. But it didn't matter. Ended up breaking my back. And
So what did they have you do then? Did you get out of the service then, or did you end up doing something else?
so that was a massive story. I wanted to stay in. And I went to Texas to the doctor, the hospital, and, for the medical board, you go through all this crap. And I was asking the doctor, I was like, listen, I can get back to action, I can get back and I can go to selection. He's like, you're not going to selection, you're getting retired. I was like, well, why am I getting retired? I can heal up. And he said, because you had your back opened up. Like if I would have busted my leg and they had to put a rod or something in there and I can prove that I can walk and I can, perform my job, it's not that big of a deal. But because they had to cut open my back. So basically they cut your back open, they rip the muscle off the spine. They put these screws in, put the new disc in, pull the disc back, get everything anchored in, and then put the muscle back over the spine. Well, when muscle isn't attached to the spine, it has spasms all the time because it's trying to grab back to the bone. So that was fun. So yeah, lost my career and everything I worked for 6 years in one day.
All right, let's talk about your transition from the military.
Yeah, that was tough because I found out that I lost my career. I didn't get to choose to retire. Like,
right.
A lot of guys get to choose to retire and they, bitch about it anyway. I hate this job, and everybody bitches about their job, but I actually really enjoyed the military. I loved it. I became obsessed because I wanted to do that job. And I never really even thought about anything outside of that. So if something had to get done, I would stay. If someone didn't want to go on deployment because their kid was being born or whatever, I'd go. I was always first in the line. I'll go. I'll do it. I don't care. Because I enjoyed it. And when I lost all that in one shot, it's probably the hardest thing, just because if you think about, like, when I was younger, I remember, old timers would retire from their jobs or whatever, and they'd be dead in a year because they didn't have their why, right? They didn't have their why. They didn't have their reason to get up in the morning.
It's important.
They didn't feel like they were providing for their family anymore. So I went down a dark hole, and while I was in, we found out, we were told that if you'd been diagnosed with PTSD, you have to get up and leave. You can't qualify. You can't touch a weapon. You can't do it. So basically, you can't deploy, which means you can't be in the military anymore. So, we basically were told, bury it. So we did. And, guys come back all messed up and weird and whatever because we didn't know what was going on with us. So it was a weird transition. We got away from, like, the military. We left Tucson and we went to southern Idaho, and I went from the sun to
Snow.
9 months of the year. It was negative, weather, and the wind just whips all over the place, and it sucked, which didn't help with already going down that rabbit hole of depression. And then if you add to the medications the doctors had me on, they had me on 4 different narcotics at the same time that I took 2, 3, and 6 times a day. Not to mention the crap to sleep, the crap to not have weird dreams, the crap.
Wake up.
They had me on so much crap. And I got tired of it. And one day my wife went to work and I dumped them all down the toilet. And my wife came home, thought I took all of them because all of them were in the sink. And she freaked out. And then when I told her I dumped it on the toilet, she was like, you can't do that either. You're going to have a stroke. Because it says on all of them, don't just stop taking it. You can have a stroke. I didn't have a stroke, luckily. And that was probably about 3 weeks later was when my brain started firing again. Because I walked around just miserable and,
Zombie-like.
Yeah, so bad. And I feel so bad now. I spit pure venom at my wife, the person that stood by me all the time and took care of me and was there when I had a back surgery, was there for all 5 of them, was there for shoulder surgeries, elbow surgeries, everything. When I lost my career, everything that I went through, she was there for. Nobody else was there. And I said the vilest things to her. And she did not deserve it. She still doesn't deserve it. And every day I live now trying to make up for that stupid shit. And, we don't realize that we do these things until later. And you have those memories, and it's like, I'm stuck with that memory forever because I treated her like such shit. Not that I was trying to, or, they had me on so many different medications, and I'm not blaming medications on anything, but it doesn't help.
Oh,
So.
definitely a reason. So let's transition to something a little more upbeat, and then we'll jump back into the PTSD thing.
Cool.
Your EDC and why?
So I carry...
And I want you to go caliber specific. You and I are on the same sheet of music.
Yeah.
As far as caliber stuff goes. So
I carry a SIG P320, X-Carry. It's got a Gray Guns grip module, Apex trigger. I think it has a Faxon barrel.
okay.
Got a Hollow Sun. I'm not good.
407, 507.
It's the enclosed emitter. I think it's 507 something. 17 rounds, and then generally I carry an extra mag, another 17 rounds, and I carry a 9mm. One because
What?
Yeah.
Not a 45?
No, I don't carry 40. I don't carry 45. I don't believe in the bullshit that everybody talks. Because if I shoot you in the chest 3 times with a 22, you're going to die just like you would if I shot you with a 45. Mm-hmm. Except the difference is I'm going to reacquire the target 10 times faster than you're going to, especially if you don't train as much as I do, which I don't train as much as I should. But I know the people that talk all that shit about the 45s and the 40s don't train at all.
Time on target, baby.
Yeah. And, rapid acquisition of target, just like when you go through a door, you need 3 things: speed, violence of action, and surprise. And if you don't have one of those, shit sucks.
You know where I'm going with this, right?
So
violence and action, baby. Air Marshal Creed.
It's the same thing. And just like with the Air Marshal, your shots have to be precise, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to be ready to be violent. But you don't want a round that's going to shoot through the scumbag and hit the kid that's sitting in the chair behind him.
You got to get that right, though. Air Marshals don't miss.
Right. You shouldn't, because you should be putting time on target.
We
right?
don't.
But what happens if you shoot a round through that body?
True.
Because it can happen. Weird shit happens, especially in a gunfight.
Absolutely.
So if you shoot that round through that person and it hits that kid behind them, well, you could have prevented that by using a smaller round in that location. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
And we carried 357 SIG. Wasn't as fast. 125 grain spear gold dot. Not my choice, but I worked for the government, so they told me what to do. Yeah, yep. Exactly right.
Yep.
You look over. You got anything?
I like 9.
Okay.
Just 'cause there's a lot.
You carry 9. Yeah, you're a 9 guy.
A lot of it. It's cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Does the job.
You're always going to be able to get it.
That's the thing is, you
what
can
ammo?
always get it.
What ammo do you carry?
Angel fire, actually.
The hollow points?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have some. I think in it right now I have Hydra shock. I don't know who fucking. I'm so horrible with like.
We're gonna talk about some 9mm in just a second. What are you carrying, ammo wise, when you're 9?
You're gonna have to edit it out.
Well, we're gonna have to edit it out.
I got it from an undisclosed leftover source.
G9.
You got some Chinese ammo.
Now, you and I have talked about the G9.
Yeah.
It's an external hollow point.
Yeah, it looks like a drill bit.
Yeah, dude, it's
or an end mill or
shoots through glass, no deviation, won't exit a body. Oh yeah,
no deviation.
Yep, no deviation.
Because normally you get 3 degrees deviation up or down.
Yeah, and in a perfect world with hydraulic ammunition, your basic hollow point, you're gonna get 7 to 10 inches of deviation shooting out through a car. So go look G9. Go look it up. Do all their tests. Amazing ammo. We carried here. That's all we. Cool. All my guys, with the exception of Lance, apparently, don't carry G9.
It's whatever I can scrounge up.
What the hell, Lance?
Survival boxes from Russia.
That's right.
Yeah, he's got some shit from the Cold War.
Steel case. Got
China.
Got the ceramic shellac over the primer. Good boy.
That's been banned for shit that's been banned for 25 years.
All right, let's dive back in just real quick. Let's talk about PTSD, why, and the resources that are available or not available now. I know this is a big thing to you.
Yeah. So there's so many resources available now. It's kind of like when I was in the military with drinking and driving, especially in Vegas. You had so many resources. You had the first sergeant would literally come get you. He'll chew your ass out, but he's going to come get you. We have so many resources available to us, unlike the Vietnam guys that got fucked and continue to get fucked over this. Mm-hmm. Can you say that?
Absolutely, you can say fuck anytime you want.
All right. Because they were kind of the human guinea pigs. Because Vietnam was the first conflict that we put our foot into, where those guys watched their friend die, killed a bunch of people, got on a plane, 18 hours later, be dad, be husband, be normal. Well, how do you do that?
You can't.
You can't shut that shit off, especially those guys have been over for a year, 8 months, 6 months, even if you've been there for a month and a half. Your life has changed exponentially when you step into a location like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on with hallucinogens in Mexico. There's a guy named Marcus Capone. He was a development group SEAL, Breacher, and he had Breacher syndrome horribly, as well as DJ Shipley, and even Sean Ryan have all gone down to this doctor. It's a doctor. He's a real doctor. You just can't do these things in the United States, so they do it in Mexico. It's ibogaine, DMT, and they're microdose. It's not like they're you're going to a Grateful Dead concert and taking a whole tab of acid and hoping for the best. They're actually doing this shit properly.
Get that nail in the head, Mister.
I'm kind of a right-wing hippie.
Nice.
He likes the Grateful Dead.
Nice.
No, but I've seen.
You mean like that?
where they
Steal your
talk
face?
There you go.
I hate the Grateful Dead, but my wife loves them, and I love my wife.
There you
And I
go.
love their imagery. They got the best imagery of any band ever. So.
They do. But I've seen that where in microdoses there may be something to that. I mean, even normal, or not necessarily normal folk, but a lot of those tech cats.
Yeah.
I mean, now long term, how is that going to work out? I don't know.
Right.
But it seems to work for them. So there's something to that.
So what it is you go down for a week or whatever, and they explain to you, you have to do the work. It's like anything else. You want to get better at shooting. You want to be a better sniper. You want to be, you want to get in development group. No matter what it is you want to do in your life, you have to do the work. So if you want to get better from all this trauma and all the shit that's happened to you, you have to do the work. So when you go down there, you have to open up and you have to let this shit out. If you don't let it out, it becomes a demon. And when they're microdosing, basically you lay down and you're in a controlled environment, and it's not like you're not going to therapy to tell me about your parents and blah, blah, blah. My parents didn't fucking shoot at me for fucking 6 months straight, so it has nothing to do with my parents. It has to do with an experience that the government sent me to have. This was my paid vacation. So, but they have so many things now for like brain health, and because I know for a fact, even just playing high school football, I had probably 6 concussions. So, and there's times where I'll get in the car and I'll be driving home and I get home. I don't remember the whole trip. Could be getting old, whatever. But they have this other company that Sean Ryan actually promotes, and my buddy Ben, who's been here a few times, he just got some and he took it this morning. It's called Layered Superfoods, and it's I'm gonna fuck this up, I know I am. Active mushrooms, but it's not like you get high mushrooms. It's a superfood that helps the receptors in your brain reconnect and fire. It doesn't mess with your dopamine receptors. It doesn't mess with anything that will get you high. It's straight for your brain health. Layered Superfoods, and you can get them on Amazon, and you can put it in coffee and all kinds of shit. So check out Sean Ryan's show too, because he is huge on PTSD and mental health for military, and the more guys out there that we can get, like Marcus Capone and these other programs, the more guys and gals we can help, because ultimately, yes, we are signing on the dotted line. Yes, we know what we're doing until you actually go to war. You don't know what war is until you go and experience it. Just like you don't know what a hostage is going to react like, or as an air marshal or anything. So you don't know these things. Like I said earlier, when I was 19 years old, I want to get paid to shoot people in the face. That was the stupidest fucking thing I could have ever said.
You're 19.
Because I didn't
We
know
all wanted that.
what that was. I saw the movie Sniper, and I saw this. And, oh, that'd be fucking cool. War looks cool. Movies make war look
Billy Zane
fun and
Tom
cool.
Berenger,
Yeah,
that was good stuff as a kid.
yeah. That was my jam, man.
Well, and
That and SEALs, Navy SEALs. That was amazing.
I think that's how it comes off. I think everybody.
That's glorified.
Well, but you want that challenge, right? It's not so much that I want to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
It comes off that way as a kid. You don't really know any better how to express it. But I think you want to be able to, if that challenge arises, if you were put in that situation, would I be able to do it?
Right.
And can I prevail?
Right.
Right. And it's part of that competitiveness.
That, and you want to be a protector, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
But-
you can save somebody.
But it gets expressed when you're younger that way.
Yeah,
Right.
it gets expressed as the whole, testosterone dump.
I think I told one of Nick's friends one time I was working out. And doing the taekwondo and other shit. He's like, why do you do all this, Lance? And I'm like, I want to become the ultimate killing machine. And he just said, how noble.
Well, I think one of the best things I've ever heard
noble.
was Tim Kennedy. So, why do you train? Why do you train jiu-jitsu? Why do you train to shoot? Why do you train, keep your body in shape? Why do you do all this stuff? And he said, because I want to be the hardest person someone tried to kill. Key word, tried. So, you know, in like what was her name? I'm horrible with names. Sarah. She was saying in her podcast about the
kittens?
Dead kittens.
Not dead kittens. That was amazing.
Something else.
But
Poor Fluffy.
But she was just talking about, you know, I lost my train of thought.
It's all right, man. It's a bitch to be old.
Oh, Jesus. Just when you're trying to mitigate these circumstances, right, and teach your kids these things about war, and when you say these things, they mean something, you know.
Right.
Luckily, I didn't have any family that was in the military, or unluckily, however you want to look at it, to straighten me out. And I wish I had. I wish I'd had somebody that would have been like, that's stupid. Don't say that. You know, because you don't know. Then, you know, I tell my kids all the time, you don't know what you don't know.
But you got to, I mean, I think it's a learning curve, and I think it's good that you learn. I mean, I've learned way more stuff the hard way.
Yeah, everything
than
I've
listen
learned the hard way.
I mean, listen to anybody else. I mean, you learn more from it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you really
and
do.
you appreciate it more, right?
Right.
Because you had to suffer for it.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I chose that I wanted to go into pararescue, because you fucking suffer. Going into SEALs, you suffer. Mm-hmm. Going into combat control or TAC-P or any of these special operations fields, you suffer to get there so that you bleed less when you're at war.
Oh, no, absolutely.
You know, and they train like they fight, and, you know, it's just like I was talking to you about getting body armor and stuff, and, you know, I know a lot of people say it's stupid, you don't need body armor. No, you don't need body armor. But if there's a situation in this country where you have to have body armor, as soon as you put that extra 30 pounds on your body and then try to run and try to fight with it.
Huge difference.
Okay, so do you know that when you put a rifle into your pocket, that ain't gonna work with body armor.
Nope.
Especially if you got all your shit on it, you need to figure out how you're gonna fight with that on.
Train like you fight, fight like you train.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's just, I really liked her message, and it was cool. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Right, switch gears again.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Second Amendment.
I like it. I love it, actually.
Oh, great. We love it. How do we protect it?
That is a tough one, though.
Mm-hmm.
So the Second Amendment's always going to be under fire, right? I don't know when it became cool to go after the Second Amendment, but I think it's probably pretty much right after we became a country. Someone always wanted to take the rights away from other people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I don't really give two shits what you believe. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're in the middle. I'm not either one. I'm an innocent bystander, and I look both ways on a one-way street because I don't fucking trust anybody. People that think that Donald Trump is going to be this great savior, my opinion is you're looking to one man to unfuck something that's been fucked for 80 years. Mm. If you think Joe Biden is going to be your savior, you're looking at a career politician that has been fucking this country for 50 years.
And done nothing constructive.
Besides put a lot of minorities in prison for stupid shit. Mm-hmm. And his vice president, same thing. She kept people in prison past their term so they get free labor and shit like that. But with the Second Amendment and the uniqueness of it, right? We're the only country that has it. Mm-hmm. We're the only civilized country that has the ability to have firearms readily available. We have more ammunition privately owned in this country than the military has. So taking it is going to be a lot harder than people think. And Joe Biden can go on TV and say, you need an F-15. No, you don't. You need one man with a gun. You need one man with a gun and a belief. That'll change the world. Now, when people get tired of putting up with the bullshit and actually say, okay, now we're done, that's when I think change is going to happen. Like you and I were talking about yesterday, I would rather it happen now than when my children have to fight that
or my
fight.
grandkids. Yep,
because I don't want my children to have to fight that fight.
I still got one left in me.
Yeah, I think so. I think I got one good left.
How about you, Lance?
Probably.
Yeah.
Not that I want it to happen. Not
No,
that I
absolutely
want
not.
a civil war or anything else
No.
like that. But you know, the powers that be want to think that they know more than everybody else. It's just like, so ground force commanders, I'm sure this happens in the SWAT team, and it happens in air marshals. Somehow, this guy that's sitting behind a desk 10,000 miles away knows more about what's going on in that house.
Is his name Paul? Is his name Paul?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be. Knows more than you who's standing in this house, right?
Right.
I've never understood how that's possible. So how is an elite class that every one of them are millionaires that are spouting you need to pay your fair share or tax the rich? That chick went into Congress making $120,000 a year. She somehow is worth $8 million or $20 million, some shit like that.
No, it's not right or left. It's
all of them.
Yeah, they're all corrupt.
Look
to
at Mitch
some
McConnell.
Point. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm not either way. I could not stand.
Well, no one's
Bush.
gonna protect us except ourselves.
Yeah, no one's coming to help us. That's the thing, is people don't understand it. We send all this money to Ukraine, we send all this money to this country, we send all this money to that country, but when shit hits the fan in our country, we're not getting that in return. And even if we did, it's not going to the citizens, it's going to the government.
Well, the silent majority, I believe, is there. Look after 9/11.
Yeah.
What happened? The silent majority. We come together as a country. Sadly, it took a terrorist attack that killed thousands of people to make us do that. I don't want that to happen again.
No, but unfortunately, it probably will.
Yeah, you're absolutely
And
right.
it'll probably be
because
worse.
us as a country, we definitely need to quit being reactive and be proactive.
Yeah, exactly.
Across the board.
About everything, all the way from our diets. You know, I understand people that have medical conditions, because we've had, I've had friends that she'd be in the gym and she'd outwork anybody, and she still weighed $180, and she was 5'3", big girl. Find out she has a thyroid condition. She gets her thyroid condition fixed, bam, drop tons of weight, still works out, all that stuff. So I understand that there's people that have legitimate medical conditions, but folks that just sit there and eat ho-hos and ding-dongs all day and complain on the internet and all this stuff, it's hard for people to take that seriously, right? And these people that are going out with purple hair and green hair and stuff and flopping around and screaming, that's not going to do anything when this actually happens, right? Those are the people that are going to be standing behind us, and even though they acted a fool, I'll protect them.
Yep.
Because that's what we do. We're protectors.
They'll want your help then.
And that's fine.
Absolutely.
And I will offer it.
Thank God you're here.
Because that is us. That is what we do as protectors, right? So
protect the sheep.
In order to protect
the
the sheep, we still have to be able to have the teeth. Because what does a sheepdog have? They have teeth. And they have aggression and violence and surprise. So thanks to people, and thank you to all the servicemen and women that are willing to do violence on other people's behalf.
And it doesn't stop there. Across the board, police officers, firemen.
Yeah, all of them.
All our EMS people that, they risk their lives every single day.
Yeah, there are guys behind me.
I had the privilege of being in the military and then working for a sheriff's department and then go to the federal government. Lance was with sheriff's department, sniper, SWAT team guy. We had the privilege to do that. And I wouldn't change it. I'd do it all over again.
Again, in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Maybe some of the knuckleheaded stuff that I did, I'd change.
I don't know if it always felt like a privilege.
Right.
Yeah.
But I am glad I did it.
Yeah, sometimes it was, like I said, I loved what I did. I became obsessed with it. I'm not going to say I didn't bitch and moan like everybody else did.
Sure, that's the way it is.
I mean,
especially in the military.
I bitched and did it.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. And it's just like, can we just get this shit going, The stupid exercises and mop floor gear and fucking turkey during the summer. That sucked.
If I never see another
gas mask.
Chem suit.
Oh, fuck. And those things stink. They got nut sweat from fucking 50
OD
years ago.
Made 1940.
Yeah.
Along with your sea rats.
Yeah, the charcoal should still be good.
That's right.
You know.
It was fucking hot.
Yeah, hot, miserable, but you suffered, right? So you remembered those.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things that...
Those are some of the best times. I look back at my military career. It was the stupid, dumb shit that we did. You remember. The people.
Yeah.
You know, every one of those people out there that see this, that know us, have the same experiences. You know, it's about the people. It's like the sheriff. We worked at the sheriff's department. We bitched all the time. We had some knuckleheads as bosses, you know, but I wouldn't change a thing. I don't really miss the work.
Right.
I mean, maybe 4 to midnight on the road, I miss kind of some of the SWAT stuff. But I miss the people. Being an air marshal, I miss the people. Fuck flying on a plane all the time. It's boring as shit.
Yeah.
You know, but I miss the guys that I worked with.
Land in Chicago.
Yeah, especially when I have to land in Chicago.
Well, yeah, it's like...
That's why Lance probably never get on an airplane.
Well, that and Boeing. That, missing the... I think that's what was the hardest about my transition. Because when you get off that speeding train, whether you choose to or not, whether you choose to get off of it or you get thrown off of it, either way, you're not on it anymore. And you're just standing there watching it as it's disappearing over the horizon because you know that's gone. You're never going to do that again.
In your case, you didn't choose to. I mean, I think there's something, like when I left the sheriff's department, you know, I got to leave under my own terms.
Right.
I decided I wanted to do something else, and a lot of my friends had left. And that was also part of it. You know, like I can get out
missed
now.
Me.
Or, I mean, I can ride this a little longer, but then you may not be able to get out on your own.
Right.
That's a very easy job to lose, especially like in today's climate.
Right.
You know, so it was kind of cool that I was able to get out on my own terms, under you know, in good standing. And in your case, you know, I mean, one day you're like, I'm getting my dream job, and then later that day they're like, hey, you're done.
Yeah, forever.
I mean, that's got to be hard to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the hardest thing for me as far as getting out. You know, when you get close to re-enlistment time, like, fuck that, I'm not staying in this bullet. And then I'm like, how do you solemnly swear? You know, so there you are with your hand in your ass again. So fuck, damn it, you know.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like I wouldn't change a minute of it. So I got out. I officially got retired in 2009, but I broke my back in 2007. So if I would have gotten what I wanted and went into pararescue, my focus was to get to the 24th. So I kind of did the math. If at the time it was like 2.5 years, 3 years for the pipeline, whatever. Mm-hmm. So if I would have got through that, that would put me at 2010. So if I would have got through that, and then I would have applied for the 24th, and I would have been able to get into the 24th. I mean, this is all hypothetical that everything would have been perfect. Mm-hmm. What happened in 2011? Extortion 17.
Oh, yep.
224th pararescuing were on that helicopter.
Yep.
And my wife said, that would have been you. Because that's what you were pushing to do. And so my wife always reminds me, and I'm glad that I have such a strong woman.
A whole host of other options.
Yeah, so many other things could have happened, you know. I could have broke my back in training. I could have, you know. For a reason. Right. And my wife always says everything happens for a reason.
It's true.
And it could have been just a training accident. It could have been anything, because that group works with certain guys and that's it. And your training level, it has to be up here. So you have to train with both groups, and you have to be proficient with everything. And you know you're not a door kicker. You are in the back of the stack, which I'm completely fine with. I don't need the glory of shooting somebody in the face. I'm just there to patch these guys up when they get hurt, you know. So
well, they're tip of the spear guys.
Yeah.
They really are.
That was the drive, you know. At all my deployments, I got to walk with some giants. I was not a giant. I was not special operations. We worked with those guys, and they were the greatest people on the planet. And, you know, I was lucky enough to be able to walk with them and call them my friends, and I still talk to a lot of them now. And
yep, I worked with a bunch of them in the Air Marshals. Q, Great guy, Delta guy. One of my best buddies. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Never know it. Never know what they do for a living.
No,
You know?
No, I mean, he was not intimidating to look at.
Yeah. All the Delta guys I ever met, they were my size.
Yeah, that's about.
You talk to the development group and SEAL Team 6 guys, those guys are like 6'4", look like fucking Vikings, big old beards, long hair, just yoked. And you're like, holy shit. And then you see a Delta guy, he's like, hey. And that dude probably fucked more people up than that big old dude, you know?
Like Delta Dave.
Yeah.
You know, I expected to meet some grizzled dude, and I forget too that I'm getting older.
Right.
But this dude was actually younger than I am. No gray hair.
Yeah.
Just kind of chill.
Mellow, quiet.
Yeah, super bad dude.
Yep.
It took a lifetime of violence to be this calm.
And he's
That's what they say.
Yep.
kind of pushed some of the stuff that you are as well. Like I know he'd had some issues because he did a lot of breaching.
Yeah, breacher syndrome.
So you get the traumatic brain injury stuff, and I think he worked with, is it Mission 22?
Yeah, what the hell's it called?
It's something 22.
Yeah, it's the
But
22 soldiers
he
that died.
worked with them, and we had done a little bit of stuff with the knife company for them, just minimal. But I thought that was pretty interesting. He was a real good dude, but you would never know.
Yeah.
So
All my buddies that served in those units and, 1st Battalion Rangers, and you would never know what they did. You'd never know that they just shot 3 people in the face last night, and now they're eating a steak, and
Well,
enjoying life.
our buddy Q was from Guam, and his favorite. And he's like 5'6", probably $170. Super nice dude. We go out. What can Brown do for you? That was his pickup line. You watching, Q?
That is amazing. That is amazing.
He's a good dude.
yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up, man.
man.
Thank you very much,
Hey, thanks for having me.
Philip. Good job, Lance.
See you, good brother.
Veterans, we talked about the PTSD. Get help. If you need help, call. We're here 7 days a week. Anything that you guys need. Again, thank you. I'm Herb with American Downrange. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to American Downrange, where we keep you locked and loaded. If you love the podcast, share it with a friend. We'll see you next time on American Downrange, presented by Claycomo Shooters.